leads us to the role of perspiration, and I have 4 ideas about that, beginning with idea number 5. To each his or her own. Would you like to know the secret to good teaching?
Yes.
Okay, Yoda told me he did. Comes to us from a professor at Harvard by the name of Howard Gardner. Attractive man. He's available, ladies. Here, he's quite the party guide. Well, back in the mid-1980s, Howie wrote a book where he described 7 multiple intelligences. Then about 15 years ago, he came out with another book where he described 2 new intelligences, so he could charge another $20 for that book. While Gardner's multiple intelligence theory is important, he actually stole most of his ideas from a more important educational philosopher of the late 1970s by the name of Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman said, "Teachers, all you got to remember is this. Different strokes for different folks." Everybody say that.
Different strokes for different folks.
Every kid is different. This is what makes our job so difficult. This year's batch, totally different than last year's batch. Second period, polar opposite from 5th period. They say anyone can teach. I completely agree. Anyone can teach. It takes a lot of hard work to be a good teacher, though. I hate that saying. The one that really drives me nuts is when they say, "Oh, if you touch just one child, you have succeeded as a teacher." I used to tell my teachers, if you touch just one kid, please find another job. Let's shoot for the moon and get at least half the kids achieving in this country. It's amazing how low we set the expectations for our students. I've learned one size does not fit all. Every class I've ever taught has a Yesenia and a Jose. Let's say you're teaching 3rd grade this year. You are not teaching 3rd grade. You are teaching anywhere from 7th grade to caveman. Every class I've ever taught, Yesenia shows up a half an hour early to class every single day. "Hello, Mr. Brassell. I rearranged the desk and I thought of a way you could integrate social studies with science, and I just did my math homework for the next 5 years. And then there's Jose. Jose shows up 10 minutes late to class every single day holding his pencil like he just discovered fire. Pencil! Pencil! And in my experience, Yesenia usually gets transferred within 3 weeks, and Jose never misses a day of school. Which is fine. I became a teacher for Jose, not Yesenia. She's going to do fine with or without me. I can actually have a real impact on Jose. And actually, Yesenia needs me too, just in a very different way. I think one of the silliest things we strive for in American education is equality. Kids don't need to be treated equally, folks. They need to be treated fairly. Some kids don't need much attention. Some kids require a lot of extra attention. We got to give every kid exactly what it is that they need. It's almost as ridiculous as the reading wars. I've been in higher education now for over 20 years, and they're still debating on how do you teach a kid how to read. You got people over here believe the way you teach a kid how to read is alligator, ball, cat. Because that's the way we all speak, right? And then you got the people over here, "Natalie, I want you to take this book home, put it under your pillow, and when you wake up, Natalie, you'll know how to read." And I'm being facetious because we know if you want to learn how to read, knowing the sounds of some of the letter blends is somewhat helpful, isn't it? Certainly is. And having opportunities to read for fun is somewhat helpful, isn't it? It certainly is. But we know we need to have a balanced approach. But this is what I've learned as a teacher. If I got a kid that loves sitting there doing phonics worksheets, what should I do? Let him. If I have a kid that loves sitting in the corner reading on her own, what should I do? Let her. School was built for them, not for me. I'm not a big hooked on phonics guy because I stuttered when I was a kid. My teachers were trying to get me hooked off phonics. You know? I'm like, ball. They're like, no, it's just ball. Right? But I've taught some kids how to read using a phonics-based approach. It's not my preferred approach. Can I give you a teaching tip?
Yes.
English is not a phonics-based language, folks. Spanish is. I can teach everybody in this room how to read in Spanish in 6 weeks or less. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. Nice and consistent. You know, look at the symbol A. In Spanish, what sound does it make? Ah. Always ah. English, ah, ah, a, ugh. Sounds like I'm about to vomit. That symbol makes 18 different sounds in English. Not a very useful strategy, and I'm always looking for strategies. I have a teaching philosophy. You keep them moving, you keep them playing, that keeps them happy. When they're happy, that's when they're learning, because they don't even realize that they are learning.